He was never just a name and a statistic. Ariel Ortega was a feeling, a moment, a dribble that made an entire stadium shake. Many remember him as the fallen genius, but what truly remains of such a talent when the applause has faded? Today, we begin exactly where the noise stopped, in his quiet home in Buenos Aires, and follow his path back to the beginnings. In the early 1990s, Ariel Ortega emerged at River Plate as if he had always been part of that stage. He didn't need a long adjustment period or a cautious approach. His game was never the result of strict systems, but pure intuition. The ball seemed glued to his foot, his movements appeared spontaneous yet precise. River gave him space, and Ortega repaid that trust with decisive moments. The winning of the 1996 Copa Libertadores marked a turning point. This title didn't just end a sporting phase, it opened the door to greater expectations. The next step seemed logical: Europe. In the late 1990s, he moved first to Spain and later to Italy. His quality remained, but the game was more structured, the space tighter. His impact became more inconsistent. It wasn't a sudden collapse, but a quiet indication that his talent required more freedom than rigid order. At the beginning of the 2000s, he returned to Argentina. At River Plate, he found a familiar role again, and later at Newell's Old Boys, stability and continuity. He didn't change his style, he didn't reinvent himself. He simply played where his understanding of the game made sense. His path with the national team followed this logic as well. In major tournaments of the 1990s and early 2000s, he provided occasional highlights but never became the long-term center of a project. His career ended without scandals, without dramatic ruptures, but naturally over the course of the 2000s and 10s. He gradually withdrew from the public eye and let the cycle wind down at his own pace. Was that perhaps his greatest decision? Not to hold on at any cost, but to let go before football let go of him? Today, Ariel Ortega lives in Buenos Aires, far from the media noise and any form of self-promotion. He purchased the house back in the 1990s, at the peak of his career. However, it was only after his final retirement in the 2000s that he moved in permanently with his wife and family. Since then, this house has become the center of his daily life. The facade is simple, clean, and understated. No ostentatious elements, no display of wealth. Everything blends quietly into the residential environment. Behind the house, a well-kept garden opens up with simple paths, green vegetation, and a modest pool. It is a place of silence. There he sits, talking with close friends or spending time far from the public eye that once defined his life. In this house, his children also grew up. It wasn't built to impress, but to stay. At the same time, Buenos Aires keeps him close to River Plate, the club he always considered his true home. From here, he remained connected to the club, not as a star, but as a part of its history. This home is more than just a property. It reflects his current attitude: tranquility, belonging, and continuity. But how was he able to secure this stability? What financial decisions made this life after the limelight possible? According to public reports, Ariel Ortega's current net worth is estimated at around $5 million. This sum is the result of his entire career and has remained stable in recent years. It reflects no restless pursuit of growth, but rather a quiet and controlled lifestyle. The most important source of income to this day is his close connection to River Plate. Through senior matches, commemorative events, honors, and symbolic activities surrounding the club, he receives approximately $100,000 annually. This income is regular and represents an emotional bond more than a business deal. Additionally, there are appearances on television shows, football interviews, and selected events in Argentina. These bring him roughly $30,000 per year. Furthermore, image rights and archival material, including historical footage, publications, and digital content related to River Plate, generate about $1,000 annually, almost passively and without a constant presence. Additional small fees from friendly matches and symbolic football events supplement his earnings. In total, his current annual income amounts to around $160,000. Compared to other players of his generation, his wealth may seem modest. But for Ortega, it means stability and personal peace. Isn't true security sometimes more important than spectacular numbers? In addition to his sporting career, Ariel Ortega has been continuously involved in charitable projects for more than 12 years. A significant initiative took place in 2016 in Ledesma, in the province of Jujuy. There, an honorary match was held at the Club Atlético Ledesma Stadium, attracting around 12,000 spectators, including former River Plate players. The tickets cost 100 Argentine pesos, and the proceeds, estimated between $8,000 and $10,000, went entirely to social projects of the River Plate Foundation in Libertador General San Martin, focusing on child and community development. On the same day, Ortega participated in the inauguration of a multi-purpose sports court at the Manuel Dorrego School, which he himself had attended as a child. The project was funded by the River Plate Foundation and represented a social investment of about $25,000 to $30,000 US. More than 1,000 students in a region with limited resources benefited from it. As early as 2013, at his farewell match at the Estadio Monumental, a social contribution was also made. Although no official figures were released, it is estimated that over $50,000 US flowed into charitable programs around River Plate. Even after the end of his career, Ortega continued to engage in football clinics in northern Argentina, providing young players with his time and experience. His philanthropy is not characterized by big headlines, but by consistency and presence. Football serves him as a bridge to achieve a concrete and quiet impact in the communities he feels connected to. But what does his private life beyond these public gestures really look like? At 51, Ariel Ortega is in a quieter and more stable phase of his life. At his side is still Danes Molinares, the woman who has accompanied him through many highs and lows. In the 2000s, their relationship occasionally drew public attention, but over time, they made a conscious decision to stay together and rebuild their balance away from the headlines. Together, they have at least 3 children. The eldest daughter, Sol Ortega, leads a largely discreet life, but occasionally appears at commemorative events alongside her father. His daughter Manuela was mentioned particularly during more difficult phases of his life and was considered an important emotional support. His son Tomas left a powerful impression when he accompanied his father onto the pitch at the 2012 farewell match at the Monumental Stadium. This moment was so defining that Ortega immortalized it as a tattoo on his arm in 2018. Since the 2010s, he has consistently stayed away from the media frenzy. His daily routine is simply structured. The days often begin with early training sessions in the gym, a routine he occasionally shares via social media. His week is not dictated by intense professional obligations, but continues to revolve around River Plate. He participates in symbolic games, fan events, and autograph sessions, thus remaining part of the club that shaped his identity. The rest of his time is spent with former teammates. They meet, play football, have conversations, and celebrate birthdays in an atmosphere that hardly recalls the pressure of past competition days. Today, football is still present in his life, but it no longer fully defines who he is. Perhaps that is his greatest transformation. Ariel Ortega has found a quiet and established way of life in which past and present are in balance. If you like such insights into the current lives of former footballers, then support us with a like and subscribe to the channel. In the next video, another story awaits you that will surprise you.